What's up, college basketball fans? Welcome back to another video on the College Basketball Report. Yesterday was a pretty great day for college basketball. There were some good games. Maryland surprisingly beating UCLA by 18. That was an impressive win for Maryland there. I think they have a great squad. Iowa State, Texas Tech, I'm watching it right now, going down to the wire. Texas Tech, that would be a huge win for them, knocking off the 13-1, number 3 in the nation, Iowa State. So that would be a pretty impressive win. You also got Florida and Arkansas going on, just started. But for my top 3 games as of right now, the first one, I'm going to have to go with Tennessee and Texas on this one. These two teams have both been very impressive this year. Texas Tech 11-4 on a skid, lost to Auburn by 5, lost to Texas A&M by 20. Texas is not a bad team. Only losing by Auburn by 5 is not bad at all. Tennessee, on the other hand, coming off a 30-point loss. Not so great there. Tennessee, I think, got humbled in that game. They hadn't really faced anyone good. If you look at Tennessee's schedule, just look at these wins. Louisville, I guess, is an okay win. Baylor looked like a good one then. Doesn't seem like as good of a win as it did then. Syracuse, Miami, win against Illinois by 2, and then beat Arkansas by 24. So, I guess they have some pretty good ones this year. Travis Lanier, Zakai Zegler, Igor Milicic. Those guys have been great for them. But if you look into this Texas team with Trey Johnson, Alex Kaluma, those two have been awesome for them this year. Went over Syracuse. They haven't really had a great win this year. They lost to Ohio State by 8, lost to UConn by 11, lost to Texas A&M by 20, lost to Auburn by 5. So all 4 of their losses have not been not bad losses. All those teams are ranked as of right now. Ohio State is the only one that hasn't, but Ohio State has been on the climb lately. This team has been a little bit interesting this year, I would say. They're 0-2, 11-4 in conference play. Tennessee is 14-1, 1-1 in conference play. Tennessee coming off a 30-point loss. Texas coming off a 5-point loss. But Texas is home in this matchup, and I like the upset here. I think Tennessee falls again. As much as I like Tennessee, I just think that Texas is going to get their first good win. Trey Johnson, if he has a good game, he'll take over. I think Texas will win this game. So give me Texas in that one. If we go through these other games, I guess I would say my next best game, and it's really tough, but it's got to be picking between these. It's got to be Alabama and Texas A&M. These two schools have also had great years. Both have the same record, 2-0 in conference play. Mark Sears, Grant Nelson for them, great. Wade Taylor is great. He is out for the second game in a row. Not the best look for them there. He suffered a groin injury against Abilene Christian on December 28th, where the blowout went over 38 over them. So they don't have Wade Taylor again, but they did beat Oklahoma because Zurich Phelps decided to go off, dropping 34 points. Like I had predicted in my last video that I posted on that day, he played amazing. Best game of the year for him so far. Let's look into the Crimson Tide here. It is at Texas A&M. We have to remember that. Reed Arena, another tough arena to play in. Lost to Purdue by 9, not a bad loss. Lost to Oregon by 2. Those are their 2 only losses. Beat South Carolina by 20, who just played a really close game with Auburn today, but they fell just by 3 points. also beat Oklahoma by 28. Beat North Carolina, beat Creighton, beat Illinois, beat Houston. So this Alabama team has shown that they can go into these matchups and play can play amazing basketball. I would say the North Carolina win is and North Carolina is not very good this year, so the rank win there doesn't look as good as it did back then. I think one takeaway here is, even though Mark Sears and Grant Nelson are great, when you look at their wins, at South Carolina, at North Dakota, at North Carolina, at Purdue. So I would say when they did face a actual good team like Purdue, they lost by 9. Illinois, great team, but they did just lose today to USC. So don't know how to feel about Illinois right now. Beat Houston, who's also been playing great right now, home game. Beat Rutgers, home game. Beat Creighton, home game. So Alabama has really lucked out on their schedule so far with these home games. But coming into Reed Arena, it's a tough place to play. Texas A&M's crowd is rowdy. Zurich Phelps, Anderson Garcia, Jace Carter are great. Henry Coleman's also outstanding center for them. Zurich Phelps is going to be running the point guard. Expect to see Manny and Zurich Phelps, them two, running the point guard tonight, with Wade Taylor being out for the second straight game. Lost to UCF to open up. It's a pretty bad loss, but first game of the year, it's not going to be the end of the world. Lost to Oregon by 10 in the Players Era tournament. Not a bad loss either. Both these teams lost to Oregon, I will say that. Wins against Creighton, Rutgers, Wake Forest, Texas Tech, Purdue. When you look at these teams, win against Rutgers, neutral site. Win against Creighton, neutral site. Won against Ohio State, home game. Won against Wake Forest. Beat Texas Tech in a neutral site. Beat Purdue in a semi-neutral site game. It was in Indianapolis. Super close to Purdue, so I don't know how to feel about that one. Coming off beating the rivals, and then Zurich Phelps hitting the game-winning shot with 10 seconds left against Oklahoma. What a game that was. These two teams, very hard to pick, and if Zurich Phelps plays like he did, which I think he will have another great game tonight, then I think I will have Texas A&M pulling off the upset here. And one thing about this Texas A&M team is if they beat Alabama tonight, I think people need to start taking them seriously because they're without their star point guard. And Wade Taylor has also been he's a dangerous shooter. He's also laid back. He's kind of been more laid back this year, not taking any crazy shots, not turning the ball over as much. He's a great leader for the team. If you watch the Oklahoma game, he was on the sidelines yelling, coaching his players, cheering them along. So I like the grit on this Texas A&M team. So I think they'll pull off the upset over Alabama. And for the last game of the night, it's hard, but you're going to be picking between Boise State and Utah State or Kentucky and Mississippi State. Especially Oklahoma, Georgia is a good one. But I'm going to have to go with another top 15 matchup here, Kentucky and Mississippi State. Once again, a great day for college basketball. Kentucky coming off a loss at Georgia by 13, but beat Florida before by 6. Otego Oweh for them has been playing great for Kentucky. Lamont Butler, also Kobe Brea, might be the best shooter in the nation. Let's look into Kentucky here. Wins against Duke in Atlanta. What a win that was. Absolute thriller of a game. Beat them by 5. Lost at Clemson by 4, not a bad loss. Beat Gonzaga only by 1. Gonzaga looked like a great win there. Gonzaga has shown that they're not as good anymore. Beat Louisville, okay win. Beat Florida, that's a great win. Lost just to Ohio State by 20. Lost to Georgia by 13. Lost to Clemson by 4. Their losses aren't bad, I would say. Their offense is electric. 88 9.8 points a game. Third in D1 this year. Also, assists and rebounds per game. So their offense has been stellar this year. I mean, I could see another 100-point game against maybe even Alabama coming up soon with that shootout of a game. That will be. Let's look at Mississippi State here, though. Mississippi State, 14-1, 2-0 in conference play. Mississippi State has been an interesting team this year. Had a great road win against Vanderbilt. Beat Memphis by 13 at Memphis. Great win. Beat Pitt. Only lost to Butler by 10. Butler is a mediocre Big East team. So it's not that's a pretty bad loss there. But that is their only loss. They've only had one loss in the year. They have had a light schedule, which is why I'm kind of nervous with them stacking up against this Kentucky team. But I like Josh Hubbard. I like Cameron Matthews. Those two have been playing great. They're averaging 83.5 points a game, 29th in D1. So both these teams have great offenses. I could see a high-scoring affair here. RJ Melendez also is great. It is really tough with these two schools. Kentucky obviously has had the better strength of schedule. It's tough to pick between these two. And by the way, Iowa State survives against Texas Tech, beating them by 1 point. Wow, what a game. Florida just took the lead over Arkansas. But I think I'm going to have to go with I like Kentucky in this one. They just lost by 13 to Georgia. Georgia has been playing great, but I'm going to have to go with them. I think Kentucky will win a close one here. So, with that, that's my top 3 games for the College Basketball Report. I got Texas beating Tennessee, Texas A&M beating Alabama, and Kentucky beating Mississippi State. That's my top 3 games for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy your hoops today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.